Hello, my name's Heather Donnelly again, and we met previously on another couple of tracking videos. I want to tell you a bit about handling. You do have a long line when you're out tracking your dog, and there is a very logical reason for that. It's mainly on corners where people tend to get lost, especially downwind corners, and handling is quite paramount, really. We're just going to put in a simple line track, and I put the treats out. They've been laid about every 3 paces, and he's going to end on the article, which is the pot. Okay, and there's a piece of food at the pot to get the interest. So once he gets there, lots of reward and praise, and then give him a piece of treat from the pot. So where you start, if you want to bring him a bit closer so that he's got focus on the pole, which he has there now. So you've got your line, which is 10 metres, and I always spend a bit of time to throw it out and then make sure that there's no knots in it, or that you don't tie yourself up, because the dogs in his enthusiasm are very wizzy to get going. So always give yourself plenty of time. Don't worry about the judge before you get your dog going. It's quite important that you do that. Okay, and what I tend to do is I step on the line there so that he can't whiz off, because you can see he's very, very keen to do that. And that gives me a chance so that I can get my lead back, sort of, whether you stick it in your pocket or put it over your person. Okay, again, make sure he's untangled, and then I clip the line or clip the clip and say track, and then just point at the piece of grass in front of him. Okay, when you're ready.
Track.
Good boy. Good. Just taking a wee while to get into it. Good, nice. Really good handling there. So that's a good taut line. That's a good position behind the handler, behind the dog as well. Good boy. Very good. Very nice. Okay, plenty of praise, and he can have a treat out of the pot. Now with this little dog before, this little dog used to just eat one treat and then look at his mum for where do I go next. Now he's actually in the last couple of months or so just realised that actually if he carries on in the belief that there's more food, he's going to actually get to the point where he gets the pot of food. The dog often will take the handler over the corner, and you need to sense really at what point the dog has lost track. They go into this kind of search mode. The key thing to do for the handler is to stand still, because you were probably right up until that moment when that happened. So the reason we leave the line on the ground rather than having it coiled up is that you can easily turn around and see, so you knew you've come from that direction. Now, if the dog is casting and has virtually told you there's no track straight on to the left or the right, then it's often quite wise to take a couple of steps back. And therefore, if you did overstep the corner, then you will eventually get back onto the corner. If you think the dog is looking if it's tracking again, resist from going too quickly. Let the line feed through your hands, and if you then are predicting or can see that the dog is taking a straight line, you probably hit the next line of track, and then that's your key to get going. What you then must do is get back up at the line, because it may not be very long before you hit another corner. Some of these legs are only 25 paces. If you have too much line, the dog can get away from you, you can miss vital body cues. Ideally, roughly I say the amount of line each dog should have would be about 2.5 of its body length. So once you've let it out, it's like climb up a rope, feed it back in, especially if the dog's quite fast, feed it in quite quickly. And again, if the dog stops, stand still, let the line feed out gradually, no jerking, which can put the dog off, until you think the dog's hit the line of track again. And again, let it feed out. And when you're convinced it's on the right line of track, very quickly get up the line again. Okay, what we're going to do now, he's going to rush to the pole because there's a treat there. The track actually goes to the left. Now I want you to stand at the pole and let out your line. Now, reason we're going to do that is that the dog, you need to sort of make sure that the dog is actually taking the right line of track. What dogs tend to do is they tend to shoot off maybe to the straight ahead or to the right where there's no track. So you need to let out a certain amount of line to take out that element of error that they might make, okay? Yeah. So he's got to get used to you actually not going with him straight away. So dogs do make mistakes, and that's why we have the line, to eliminate the mistake. So at the moment, let's say a treat at the pole. If you would let out your line until he's eaten 2 treats, which is going to be about 5 paces, don't go with him. When he then goes on to take more steps, that's the time you actually go up and to the correct distance that you were before. Okay. Yeah, okay. Right. Off you go.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
Nice and keen.
You ready? Good job.
Okay, stand at the pole. Good. Let out the line. Good. Okay, wait till he goes forward. Stand still. Off you go. Go closer up the line. That's it, that's a good distance. He's just working it out. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, he's just a bit swervy because it's quite gamey up here. But that illustrated the handling of letting it out and then getting back up, okay? You do have numerous opportunities really to watch the dog's body language of when it's right and when it's wrong. Do be careful about helping them too much, because some dogs are quite reliant on saying to the handler, I don't know where the track goes, can you show me? So it's better really to act dumb most of the time for the dog then to take the decision. You do want them to do that most of the time. But I leave it roughly about a couple of seconds, and if the dog is really clueless, then I would, if I laid the track myself, help them along that leg for them to take the line of leg. But do be a bit careful about doing that, as I say, because some dogs are very quick to ask you. But it is all experience, and you will get better at it. I can explain to all my beginners how to handle, when to let out the line, what to do on various corners, but it tends to be so much better when it comes from the person experiencing it themselves, rather than anything that I can tell you. What is quite useful from time to time is not to allow the handler to watch, because then they've got a chance to read essential cues from the dog's body language. Because if they watch me go out and put the track, or even when they lay their own tracks, they know exactly where it is. So you can indirectly influence the dog. So what I like to do from time to time is I put the track down and I make the handler face in the opposite direction. And I don't mind if the dog watches, because that motivates the dog. And sometimes I might play a trick, so I may actually put the track out to the left, do a big circle and come back walking from the right, so the handler might actually think I've gone that way and the dog is clearly saying it goes in the opposite direction. So it's very much trying to get the handler to believe their dog, but at the end of the day, it is very much about being a team. Okay, so off you go. Ali, you don't know where it goes.
Wait.
Boy. I think you could have let out a bit more line then, because he went to the left, you took one step, 1, 2, and then he gave up. So what you could have done there was actually let out the line until the dog gave up. This is why we do let them have line, to eliminate the element of error, so to speak. He gave up very quickly, as you saw. Ali only barely took one step before he then turned to the right, and he knew that's where the track went, and then off he went to find his reward.